And of course, so you fill that in. We process membership applications every 30 days, so it's a fairly swift process. Once you're a member, once you're a member, you go into, if you want to start into a pre-accreditation process, you do that through an eligibility application. And I will give you a little bit more information about that as we go along today. Again, in your packet that I've handed out, we just started a new application process as of July 1st. So there is a document in there that describes the new process. It describes a little bit about the old process, just in case you were halfway along that. And then there is also the eligibility application form. Once that's accepted, you actually develop what we now call an alignment plan. We want you to show how you align your school with the standards, the 21 standards. So you do a gap analysis. You say, standard 1, that's about mission. Do we currently meet that standard? Do we have a mission? Do we have a process for managing the mission? Do we advertise that we have a mission? That kind of thing. You'd say, yes, I meet this standard. No, I don't. So you look at each standard in turn and see if you meet the standard. So you develop an alignment plan. You also determine what are we going to accredit. We normally accredit the institution. Okay, so if the University of the Philippines decides to go for accreditation, generally the scope is the institution. Excuse me. Occasionally, we do not accredit the whole institution. Occasionally, we credit a unit of the institution. Sorry. Okay. But that's quite a complicated, we can have a lot of complicated discussion of scope, so I can't go into it, the whole details just now. At this point also, I've not put on there, but you get a mentor who will help you. Once this alignment plan is done, you implement the alignment plan. Once you've implemented it, you then develop a final report called the self-evaluation report. You have a team visit, and that team visit should end up with initial accreditation. Once you have initial accreditation, 5 years later, you have to go through a process called maintenance. So that is the whole process in one slide. So, okay. Let's just go into this. The pre-accreditation process. You apply for membership. This is the cost in US dollars. Membership is approved. You fill in the application process. That is $1,000 along with supporting materials submitted at any time. We have a lot of acronyms in AACSB. This is the Pre-Accreditation Committee, PAC. These eligibility applications are going to be reviewed monthly. If it's accepted, you will be assigned a mentor. A mentor is a dean from an accredited institution. We have a few people here at the front who have been mentors, are mentors, or possibly peer-reviewed team members as well. So these are now volunteers, okay? So they will explain their volunteer role at some point. So you do the eligibility application, it's reviewed monthly. If it's accepted, we assign a mentor, and then you actually pay your accreditation fee. Your accreditation fee is an annual fee of $4,500. Everybody here pays that annually, $4,500. That puts you into the accreditation process. Okay. A brief look at an eligibility, the content. And you can follow along if you want to look at your application. We ask you some demographic data about your institution. We ask you to talk about some criteria, and my next slide will mention that. We ask for some numerical data on faculty, and then we ask you to submit it with your strategic plan and some financial data just to show that you are a viable institution, that you've been in existence a few years, and you actually have some cash flow. Okay, we don't believe it's worth it if you can't afford it or you're about to lose revenue and so on. So we like to know what sort of financial status you're in. We ask for the strategic plan because we believe that accreditation is part of your strategic plan. You don't do accreditation for accreditation's sake. You do it because it's part of that process you are in for improvement. So we want to know if you are thinking, how are you thinking strategically? We don't necessarily review the strategic plan, but we want to see that you are in a planning mode. You do strategy, think strategically. Okay. Process continued. The school, with the help of the mentor, writes the alignment plan. This mentor is a volunteer. Oh, and you will also have a staff liaison. They help you understand the standards. They help you write the things down that they think you should talk about. They will help you decide if you meet a standard or if you don't meet a standard. Okay, so they help you interpret the standards to your school, for your school. This is then, once you've written this, it's reviewed by a committee, pre-accreditation committee. If this is approved, it goes to the IAC, which is the initial accreditation committee. So we've got two committees, pre-accreditation committee, initial accreditation committee.